It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up. Welcome. You're listening to Bucked Up with Sam Buck.
Fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you have fucked up.
Cheers, Thacher Wood. Welcome to
Cheers,
the
Sam
Bucked
Buck,
Up
you little
podcast.
pussy.
We're in the Two Shoes studio. Shout out your
I
podcast.
just named it
Woody
today
Two
because
Shoes.
I knew you were going to shout it out. So I was like, oh shit, I got to name this fucking thing. So there it is.
Yeah, you were. I was going to do another podcast, and it fell through.
Yeah. So
And-
thanks for. I'm glad you could have your friend fill in for you for
You're
somebody
the
that you've
side
never
bitch.
met before.
You're the side bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I
glad.
have to make plans with my wife.
I'm
first.
happy that someone you've never met before in your life could drop out so that you could have your good friend who also has had you on his podcast twice already could finally do your podcast 100 episodes in.
You were. It's
That's nice.
crazy.
That's
This
sweet.
actually
You're such a
is
sweetheart.
almost the. I'm gonna breeze over that and act like it wasn't said. I'm just kidding.
No, I know. I know how you operate, dude. It's fine. I'll just keep hammering. I'll just keep hammering home the rest of
Make
the
me
episode.
feel bad.
Yeah, we'll come back to
This
it. We'll
actually
touch on it
might be.
again.
This is close to episode 100. Ani, do you know what episode this is?
We're looking at the
We're looking
I like
at
how
the-
I looked over.
they're not
there.
even
just
looking at this.
It's just a picture of
It's
you and I.
episode 90 something. They're not even paying attention.
That's dope.
It's
Maybe we lost them when you
but
hit
at
record.
episode 1,
Are we having technical
at
difficulties
episode
that you need to
1,
address?
the day before I even started, people were saying I shouldn't do the podcast. I'm not going to go into details, but people were like, you shouldn't do the podcast. And you were the only person who said I should do it.
The only person? There was no.
That in that
Oh,
grouping
in
of
that
people we
group
were
of
in,
people.
like 15
Say, you
people.
must have had some.
You were the
support.
only one who said I should do it, and now we're almost 100 episodes in.
That was for those people.
The
who-
haters, F
yeah,
the haters.
to be named later. F the haters.
That was like very nice.
I don't
It's
like
weird.
seeing that shit.
It's weird when people like don't support. Like I feel like you're in the same mindset that I'm in, where it's if other people thrive, you can thrive too. Like it's not like a cutthroat mentality.
You should be when your friends are successful, you should feel like you're succeeding. Like that's how I feel. Like you should be happy when your friends succeed. Like there's always jealousy. Like we're human beings. Like am I a little jealous of like how consistent your episodes are going, and would I like my podcast to be as consistent as yours? Because we were talking about it around the same time, talking about starting them around the same time, and then you just fucking smoked some DMT, took a week and went for it. And then I like am still kind of like I'm just more of a snail the way I like I'll always get it done, but I'm just slower in how
What
I
was
operate.
Wait,
But-
I've never talked to someone who from the other side of this. I don't mean to cut you off, but what was the change in me pre DMT, post DMT? Because you were the person who was like, wait, there is an actual difference.
I mean, it's hard to describe, but it was just like your general demeanor. Like you word. I'm not great with vocabulary.
I'm not either. I'm always
but like it was like your general demeanor.
No,
like,
I know
okay,
zero
so like
words.
you had like a recent breakup, which like didn't even seem like exist. I mean, you still kind of had the idea where you're like, I'm still gonna marry this girl, and I was like, okay, dude, I think that's just some residual shit that you didn't get rid of through that whole experience. Because I'm like, he's crazy if he like I know he doesn't mean that, but like respect, like because you were in this like real like positive, loving, embracing attitude or whatever, but you just like focus, dude. Like it just like everything that made like all that stuff that we all have that's just in our, all the shit that we want to do that we can't organize and we get to a little bit of it at a time. You just like took all of it and we're like, vroom, and it's like this.
I
And
still
you
feel
had
like a
the
lazy
direct-
piece of shit.
Yeah, but you just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's so subtle of a change, but like when you know someone well enough, when something changes in them, like you just know, it's like you just know.
Yeah.
It's hard you can't really just, you're just like, I don't know, you're just more focused, I guess, and more like less I don't fucking know, dude. Why'd you got to put me on a spot like that?
You know what is funny? What brought us together is Muslim titties.
Muslim titties. Yeah.
That's our friendship started over
Muslim titties. Yeah.
Not many people can say that.
No.
I mean, maybe some Muslim people could say that.
I'm sure Muslim titties have brought plenty of people together. Sam, let's be real, dude. Are you kidding me?
But you
That's one. I can name one specific set that is like completely like reshaped Muslim culture.
Kevin Sanchez. Wait, are we thinking of the same person?
Yeah,
She's the only
She was
porn.
just in. She was. I just saw her acting. She was
What's
okay.
it, Mia
Yeah, she was
Khalifa?
Mia Khalifa.
She's the
She was in-
only.
She was in Rami Youssef's
I don't
show.
know any porn stars. Like people can name porn stars.
Oh yeah.
I don't know a single one other than
Sadly
her.
enough, I can name the guys too. It's like,
No.
which is like,
Like
which
I've
is like,
heard
what I'm not
names
ashamed
and-
to admit it. I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality, but I've just watched enough of it that like
I'm an amateur porn guy.
I'm fucking.
I don't want to know the stars. I like watching.
I am an. Oh, you just.
I'm
watched the
like
Emerson?
I'm a hipster in my porn. Like that's too popular.
So you don't like the like. What do you do when
Like
you
if
want
I
some,
find a
some good
video that
HD quality
has
stuff?
I need a video that has like 3,000 views.
It's got to be grainy.
No, I want it to be. It can be good quality, but it has to be
like
homemade.
America's Funniest Videos, quality video.
I just like to know that they're in love. I'm just kidding. No, but I do like to know that it's not just for a paycheck. I like to
cannot-
know that they're.
I
actually-
can't watch Mia Khalifa videos or like I don't want to say their names, but there's like porn stars who have like taken their own lives because of those experiences and et cetera, and they're pretty hot. And it's like knowing like what that experience did to them, I cannot enjoy.
I just don't. I'm not a big like. Are you a big? I feel like this is
like
going to
that's
turn into let's talk about Thatcher's porn addiction.
No, I definitely don't want that to be the case. There's so many other things I do. I golf, I play hockey, like I have my own I'm starting a podcast, like so many things we could talk about.
No,
I mean,
we're
that's
going down this route.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about
it's
the
a big
first
part of
time
my life, 2
I
days a
used
week.
to. The first time, I'm sorry for any family members listening to this or people from like families past that this is what we're starting on. But the first time I ever jerked
It's a
off.
comedy podcast, isn't
Yeah,
it?
this is a self-help podcast.
Yeah, bullshit.
The first time I ever jerked off, I was so scared to be caught like on the like whatever. So because I had an iPod. So I went to the Playboy app, like on the App Store. And I did it to the
that's
pictures.
adorable, Sam.
I
You
did to
had
the
fucking you
pictures
said
of the App
smartphones
Store.
to use.
Yeah, it was an iPod.
Your
It
first
was
time
a-
you jerked off was with an app.
It was an app.
The first time I jerked off, I didn't even realize I was doing it. It was in a pool. And I just ended up against one of those jets, and I was like, "What is that?"
You put
dude?"
your dick in the jet?
No, the jets that shoot out the water. If you just go
Oh.
right up against that,
We all have done that.
yeah, exactly. And you
That's a
don't,
part
you
of
don't
growing
actually
up.
like you're not old enough that anything comes out, but it
Fucking a
does
swimming pool is the
it
part
does
of
the
growing
do,
up.
and you're like, "Whoa, I need to go to the pool more."
The first time I did it like this.
But
Like
seriously,
I was playing
dude,
with
I
a
had to-
slinky.
dude, the Stripes VHS was like what I had to like jerk off to, and like the grainy, like Spice Channel, where you just catch one titty, like here and there, or the Playboy Channel might come in, like all of a sudden, like the Playboy Channel was like free for the weekend. Like you wouldn't actually see any like programming; it would always just be like their like. They'd have those weird late night, like it's almost like a talk show.
Well,
where
then
they have
what's
a
the first
host
time
and
you saw like had internet porn?
Oh man, where the hell? I don't even know where I was. I don't think I could name. I really like when I owned my own computer. Honestly, like I probably would sneak on. Like we didn't really have. Like,
Did you ever get caught?
like
Not jerking off, but like with porn or whatever.
I think I've been caught jerking off, but like I had to like assume that I did because it was one of those like and then you look up and someone's like walking away and you're like, did I get it away into, who knows? Did I get it away in time? But it's just like, no one talks about it. It's like that unspoken thing.
Well,
Pretty
that's
sure
like
an aunt has walked in on me in Cozy Corner doing having stripes time.
my first girlfriend gave me head in the back seat of my dad's car while he was driving. And it was her idea.
At
But
that point, I imagine
he
you're pretty
must have known.
desensitized to getting caught jerking off.
He
You're
must
just
have-
like
I
your
just
dad
mean,
walks
like-
in, you're like, hey man, like
I
I'm
just
busy.
mean he must have known. Like we've never talked about it.
Oh,
Like he must have. How do you not know?
who is this girl?
She's
I
a-
don't say her name,
I'm
but
not
like,
gonna say her name.
shout out to that girl. That's some OG shit, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like,
she
that
was like
she was, whose idea was it?
hers.
She just went for it
Yeah.
with your dad driving.
Yeah, so I'm behind.
And honestly,
his seat.
though, like
She's
kids are
laying
that
on me.
stupid where like we can like be quiet. He won't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like kids are that fucking
He's
stupid, dude.
Like,
You know what I mean? Like I
here.
remember my mom picking us up and my buddy was shit faced and we're like, just don't fucking act stupid. She won't know. Like I'm sure as soon as he sat in the car, it just reeked of fucking vodka. You know what I mean? Like kids are so fucking dumb. We're so stupid. So I don't doubt that you guys probably thought like, just be quiet, put a blanket over. He'll think you're taking a nap. But like
Yeah, it's like
dad knew exactly. Listen, there's certain
like,
sounds and frictions that you hear that don't go on. And like when you have a fucking 87 Volkswagen station wagon, it makes certain sounds. You know what I mean? And like when foreign sounds start happening in the back seat, dude, you're not, dude, that guy is not stupid. He knew exactly what was going on. And he was probably like, fuck yeah.
Can you give me a high five?
He just like, I should have done it the other way, but if you guys that you couldn't see it on the camera, but I winked over my shoulder as if I was Sam's dad winking to him in the back seat.
That was. Have you ever been caught
That's
having?
fucking dope.
Have you ever been caught having sex?
No, dude, I was virtually an incel growing up.
He still is.
Yeah,
Going
but
back, okay, I'm going to change subjects because I'm going to change subjects because this could be the whole podcast.
Yeah, please
And
let's
we
not.
so
Please
wanted
let's
to
not.
be
Please let's not. Because we'll
About
have to run
being
it back.
stupid and being caught. Like when I was in college, a friend was like, let's smoke a joint. And then I was like, let's smoke a bowl because it'll smell us up less. He's like, you're still going to smell like weed. And I had this
Just not your fingers.
I had this like flashback to like college. I used to smoke bowls thinking they didn't make you smell and then just go to class. And then I had this even farther flashback to the first time I ever smoked weed. I was in this kid's apartment. I didn't even get high. And he gives me a hit of a bowl and I'm like, I'm scared that it'll make me smell. He goes, no, bowls, you can't smell weed off of bowls.
Yeah, so then
And
from then on, you're
literally,
just like, dude,
I just
balls don't
thought
make you
that,
smell.
and I've thought about how many times I've been with family, like been in class, been at a job. Like I used to work at Harvard University and I used to smoke a bowl in my car in a suit, go in and be like, bowls don't make you smell. Like I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
That it didn't connect until
Look, I'll just put
last week.
Visine in. They won't know. Yeah, I finally had to just come to the, even as like, I'm 38, dude. Just recently I was like, oh yeah, like you fucking stink, dude. Why would you think otherwise? You just doesn't, I was smoking my whole life. You don't even think
just
about
that
it.
one
But now I'm
time
finally
that
like,
kid
I
said
don't
that.
fucking care, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not like, at least I don't smell like vodka.
that's true. That's a sad smell.
It's such a obvious smell too. It just, it's unmistakable.
You treat your body like, I mean, you have a healthy job, but like you don't eat healthy.
No, I treat
You
my body like
drink-
shit, dude.
But you look good for 38.
Because I'm athletic, because I've never had kids, and I try to like just be, like I said, laissez-faire. Like I try not to stress myself out about shit. I mean, I know I'm probably bipolar, and I have serious rage that I do the best I can to suppress at all times. But I think it's just not having the kids thing. I've always worked construction, so I'm always outside. always active. I'm always playing some type of sport.
What's the most stressed out you've ever been in your life?
I guess I'd say starting my business, but I kind of didn't let it really.
I don't mean like that. I mean like the worst situation you've ever been. You know, if it's like you can't talk about that, I understand. But like, has there ever been a situation?
No, because I do a pretty good job of avoiding them.
You ever gone to jail or like?
I mean, I've been arrested. That wasn't that
Yeah.
stressful. I've been. Oh, I'll tell you right now. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school.
Oh, after that, you have to also tell the story about when you gave that homeless guy a ride at the gas station.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might have been one of them. That might have been one of them too.
But back to high school.
Okay, so I was a fucking idiot. Back to being fucking.
You
idiots.
were.
Yeah,
you
dude.
were.
I was like
Use present tense.
I was like right in between, like the cool kids and the not cool kids. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really roll with all the popular kids. You know, I had my group of friends and I played sports. So that's how I was like, you know what I mean? I was like that hybrid. And I started rolling with like more of a rougher crowd, which I mean, I live on Cape Cod. Let's be realistic. You know, there's still like killers on Cape Cod. There's killers everywhere. There's, you know what I mean? There's mean motherfuckers everywhere. So
but
I love
Cape
that whole
Cod.
bravado thing of like, what's the baddest region or, you know what I mean? Like there are like, obviously there's levels to this
Fresh
shit.
Holes Road isn't great.
There's killers.
Isn't that crazy that one of the worst streets on Cape Cod is called Fresh Holes?
Yeah. So there's killers everywhere. And not that I like rolled with killers, but I rolled with crowds that were smoking weed and selling drugs, et cetera, et cetera. And I got into a place where I would like, basically I had a vehicle and I love driving. I don't like riding in other people's car. I'd rather be the guy driving. So whatever, I'll fucking drive. And then I essentially became like the driver. But instead of like being involved to a level where like I'm gonna like, so I would drive people around to make plays, whether it's like sell weed. And I knew some dudes were selling coke, right? So I would like drive around basically while guys made coke deals and weed deals, and they'd smoke a blunt with me. You know, like, and so with that being said, the most stressed I've ever been is I was probably no older than 17 years old. And I went and picked up an ounce of cocaine. Like with other people. So me and at least probably three other people went to go do this, but I'm driving. And I went to the mall and the fucking guys, like whoever they were picking up from, just left it in a Burger King bag, like down behind near the fucking pond. You know, I remember the old movie theater at the mall.
Yeah, yeah.
And had the pond.
They have the
two little ponds. It was like just down by one of those ponds underneath.
Anyone can find it.
Anyone can find it, but like just marked. And we went just because that way you're not doing this hand-to-hand shit. But I just remember this fucking guy pulling out an ounce of cocaine in the back of my car and looking at that shit and immediately realizing in that moment that none of these fucking guys are taking responsibility for this shit if I get pulled over. And in that exact moment, so from that moment to when I was like, just get these motherfuckers back just get home, dude. Just get these fucking guys back to their house. Please don't let anything happen. Because if I get pulled over, I'm fucking toast, dude. I'm getting rung up for an ounce of cocaine. Like, no, like, what are they going to do? They're going to be like, they're going to take credit for it. I'm going to fucking... Now I'm a rat, you know, then there's that whole like, now I'm a rat. And, you know, it's just this whole, who knows, but all this shit's running through my head. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I'm like, I cannot believe I agreed to this. I'm not taking a cut of this. I'm getting this. We're smoking a blunt.
Oh,
when we
you're
get
just
back.
driving.
Yeah.
What
It's
do they do with
it's like
this?
28,000? I'm pretty sure at the time, like what I heard, it was like $20,000 worth of cocaine. Like it was, maybe my numbers are off, but it was a lot. It was fucking a lot of cocaine worth a lot of money.
Well,
I
this
was
might
getting
sound
$0
ignorant.
to help, like basically.
Yeah, that's
traffic
stupid.
around,
That is,
dude.
yeah.
It's one of stupid. It's literally one of the two stupidest things I've ever done in my life that I can think of.
This
off
might
the top of
sound
my
like
head.
a stupid question, but where did they put the money? Did they already give him the money? Did they leave the money in a bag?
I don't know how I don't know. They probably already paid for it, or they were they might have been fronting it.
Nothing with coke
They were probably
goes well.
No,
like
dude.
I've never done it in my life. Cocaine. I've never done it. I've never would. And every time I'm around it, it's just like
it's enjoyable with the right people. Like if you get the right type of people to just have, but if you're in like, it's not.
I don't like feeling up. Like I don't like how caffeine makes me feel.
Don't like doing it with people at a place, at a party, like, and then you want to go into the bathroom. You always got to sneak away to do that shit. I want to like do a little bit of it with my friends before we go out and get all amped up. And then maybe like, do a little bit here and there, but like, I don't really like it at all. Like, I'm not saying that, like I say that the way I say that sounds like I like do it often, but I've only done it a few times, and that's how I would enjoy doing it if I did. I'm
happy to stick in with weed and mushrooms, the natural stuff.
Me too.
Like
I get high, man. I smoke weed. Speaking of which, you're gonna spark that joint?
Yeah, I'll light this up. I'll light this up.
Yeah.
Tell that story, because that is a crazy story about the guy who got in your car.
Okay.
A dude tried to carjack me while I was in New York City the other day.
No way. That's not a believable thing.
All right. I guess it's not. I mean, it's not an interesting story because that is like oh yeah. So
wow, Sam, tell us about that. All right, I'll tell you a quick little a little quip about New York. So my aunt used to live in New York City, and I think at the time we were there, she lived in Hell's Kitchen. My brother was really, really young, maybe 4, I don't know, like young, little kid. So we're young. And my dad's walking down the street with us, and it's just some side cut across street, not like an alley or anything. And all of a sudden, there's this bang, 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 bang. He fucking grabs us both by our collars and slams us to the ground, like straight out of a movie. And and again, straight out of a movie, the guy that was walking a few paces behind us just takes a few steps and literally like steps over us, and then looks down and goes, out of town, huh? Or like, you're not from around here, huh? It was like firecrackers or something that went off on the gunshot. Yeah, he thought it was gunfire, and he straight grabbed his 2 children and slammed them dude, he like tackled us to the ground.
And the dude was so unfazed.
And the guy was so unfazed. Literally, he did like the long step over us. And it was like, so you're probably from out of town, huh? Or something along to that effect.
That's hilarious.
It was had me fucking dying. My dad. I got anyway. Tons of good New York stories.
Guy gets in the car. So I left the comedy studio after a Tuesday night open mic, and it was either Roxbury or Dorchester, right? That's one of the 2 towns just on the outskirts of Boston, where it's like Boston's nice, and then all of a sudden it's like real fast. It doesn't take long. And I had to get gas because I'm running out of gas on the way home. So I pull into the gas station, and I start pumping my gas, and like from off the road, kind of where I pulled in, this dude comes walking over, and he's like, "Hey man, you got to help me. You got to get me out of here. They're going to kill me, dude. These guys are going to fucking kill me, dude." And I was just like, no. I was like, didn't even know. I'm like, hey man, I can't fucking, I didn't know what to say. And I like paid with my card. So I have nowhere to go. I'm just standing there pumping gas. And like, I'm a fucking, again, an idiot. I could have just like, probably got enough gas at this point. We can just go, and maybe we'll stop again if we have to. But no, I'm like, I fill my tank up every time. So I'm like just waiting for my tank to get filled. I don't know why the fuck I stayed there. But he's like, dude, these guys are going to fucking, he's like, dude, you got to just drive me up. Just to get me anywhere. You just got to get me out of here. These guys are going to kill me. And to not like drag the story out, I don't know what the fuck came over me in this moment, but I basically told this kid he could hop in my car and I'll drive him out of there. And because I know what came over me. I've never in my life
Like I saw real fear in this kid's eyes. Like I didn't think he was fucking with me. Like there was like all those thoughts are running through your head. Like, oh, him and his junkie buddy are just going to fucking jump me once they get in my car. Like this is just how that's how they do it. You know what I mean? They play the fucking victim and then till you're the victim. And all this shit's kind of running through my head. And like, dude, I've never really seen a look like this in someone's eyes where like this guy really thought he was about to die. And I was like, maybe I thought like, who knows? A part of me was like, I have a chance to save a life. I don't know. You know, I thought I was going to save somebody or who knows what, some altruistic shit, like be the hero. I don't know. But I saw real fear in this guy's eyes. And I thought like, if I leave, it's not that I'm going to know that he's going to, if he died or not, but like, what if he did die? Like, could I have done something differently? And like, dude, I don't know what the fuck came over me, but I basically was like, all right, I'll fucking just get in. We'll figure it out. And then he's like, hey man, he's like, take the bikes. Like he gave the bike to his buddy wasn't even coming with us. Like that's when I kind of knew the shit was real. And that's when I started even getting nervous myself. He's like, you just grab me a Gatorade real quick. His buddy runs in, grabs him a Gatorade. I'm like, throw your backpack in the back of the fucking truck. I was like, I'm like, have my hands in my pocket. I'm like, I have a knife in my pocket right now. I was like, you pull any bullshit, I will fuck you up. Like I just got like big. I was like bigger than you know what I mean? Like I got bigger than I am, but I just got tough guy for a second because I was like kind of scared shitless. And just give me a second or relight that for me for a sec. Is it still going? I don't know. This is what happens when I start telling stories. I never hit the joint. So I'm fucking nervous as shit. He throws his shit in the back and he goes to the car. I was like, you got anything in your fucking, I was like, you got anything in your pockets? I was like, you better not pull any fucking bullshit. And we're pulling out of there. And he wants me to drive him to fucking like Charlestown or something. I'm like, dude, I'm not going back through the city the other way. You said like Braintree, like you said Braintree or something. I was like, I'll drop you at the Braintree split. Because he says he's got someone that way or whatever. And so we start driving. I'm making him empty his pockets. And he's like, oh, I only got this, that, and I got he's got fucking heroin on him. Right. So now I'm driving around with a kid with fucking heroin and a heroin needle. I'm right back in the fucking.
I didn't even know. You've never told me you had heroin on.
Dude, so now I'm right back in the fucking the ounce of cocaine situation. Right. I'm like, if I get fucking pulled over, like how it's going to look like I'm trying to buy heroin. Like,
it does,
you know what I mean?
Or you guys are fucking.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know how you get heroin. But it's like, what if these people follow us and they want to kill this guy? I don't have like, I'm licensed to carry, but I don't carry when I go out where I'm going to be drinking. Like I generally kind of don't really carry anyway. Like I just don't, I don't know. I don't really see the need to do it. And of course there'll probably be a time where I'm like, oh shit, I wish I had it, but you know, I've been drinking. So I'm like
if a heckler's real mean.
No, but it's like I could have protection.
Yeah.
Like the worst case scenario, but I don't. I'm fucking completely exposed. And if these guys come and are following us and want to murder this kid, like what the fuck are they gonna? They're gonna be like, oh no, I don't know who you are. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, I'm fucked. And then let's say I do get killed. What does a police report gonna like? How is my family gonna interpret me getting killed in a drug deal, or not even a drug deal, but just murdered with a heroin addict? Like,
yeah,
it's not going to reflect good on me or my family. And all this shit's running through my head. And I'm just like, you're fucking retarded, dude. What is wrong with you? And he's telling me like, basically the reason these guys want to fucking kill him is because he went to do like, buy fucking some shit off him. And they said it was going to be this. And he gave him $50 and they gave him like, and he thought it was like off, and he was like, oh, normally, but so he just wanted to get his money, and they didn't like it. So they fucking stabbed him, like cut him open or some shit. And so, you know, like a typical loyal return customer, he's like, yeah, that's not enough to throw me off. So he went back to him or something, you know, basically, I don't remember the details of the story.
He's a heroin addict.
Yeah.
He's
essentially like it's another drug deal gone wrong, where he's telling me he's like standing there and And it's all he's like he's fucking white kids. There's crazier than anybody. Like these crazy motherfuckers and blah blah blah. And he's saying he's watching the dude hand the paper bag off from one. You know, and he's like watching the gun essentially be handed off. Is what he told me, from one person to the next. And the guy in the wheelchair, he's like, they were gonna fucking shoot me, dude, is what he's telling me. Still freaking out. He's like, that's the car. I'm like, dude, no one's following us. We get to the Braintree split. I'm like, yo, worked up just talking about it, dude. It was so crazy. So we get to the Braintree split and he thought he had like his sister to call or somebody. I was like, basically, like, dude, figure it out, but like, I'm out of here. He's like, give me a couple more minutes. And he ends up calling his dad. And now I'm sitting here listening to him like plea with his dad to just get him an Uber so he can get out of there. And he's like, what, you want your son to die? And he's like telling his dad, I swear, if you do this for me, I'll section myself tomorrow. And like all this shit. And like that finally gets wrapped up. His dad ends up calling me. Like, I think I talked to his dad at one point or something to get like the address or what, who knows what, but finally got rid of the fucking kid and
you
drove
talked to his dad. Were you drunk?
I probably had a couple beers. Like, knowing me, if I had gone to the studio, I had a few beers while I was at the studio waiting to do my set.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and it was probably the biggest adrenaline dump I've ever had in my entire life when I drove away from that gas station to get on the rotary at the Braintree split. It was like the deepest breath I've ever taken in my life. And I was just like, when I was like, whoa, you fucking idiot. I was like yelling at myself. I was like, that was fucking insane, dude. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
But I might have saved someone's life.
You might have. If you went back to that moment, he comes up to your car again. Would you do it again?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because I'm me. So like I would react the same way I would react in that situation, dude.
Yeah.
And I like the look in that kid's face. It was like undeniable. And it's essentially like it's like you're my last hope, dude. If you leave, I'm like a dead person if you walk away. And I don't know if that was the truth or not, but like that's what I read into it. That's what I saw. And that's my truth of it anyway. Like who will never know. Because I'm like, where are these people? I don't fucking see these people.
Right.
Are they right around the corner? I'm like, is one guy out waiting? Like, because I'm in a well-lit gas station and it's like, just off the highway, but, and he's like, these kids, I was like, dude, there's a police station. He's like, these guys don't give a fuck, dude. Like they'll do it right in front of the police station. They don't care. Like and then run away. Like, and that's how crazy.
He's also a heroin addict. Like, so you don't know, like him pleading with his dad, like, I'll be sober tomorrow. It's like, he's probably done that a million times.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck, dude. I was like, whatever it takes to get this kid out of my fucking car right now.
Yeah, no, that's wild.
It was, yeah, one of the craziest things I've ever done. And I was by myself. Like, I was so exposed, dude. I didn't have a friend with me where it was like, all right, like, we'll back each other. I don't know. I've made a fucking call, dude. And it was, I don't know. I don't know what came over me. I just did it. It was like pure instincts.
Yeah.
Like they were like, no, this is a terrible idea. But I also like, yeah, I guess I have a hard time saying no to people too. It's a big thing with me. And to learn how to say no to people.
I have a hard time saying no to people, but I feel like I'm getting better at it. I feel like
it's not easy.
It's not.
You're either one way or the other. You're just one of those people who just never really does anything for anybody. You can never be counted on. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's kind of.
I don't know, because not that, like, this is a small podcast.
I don't know. Not from what I've seen.
But I get asked so much, like, people to be on it. And I'm so humble and grateful, and I truly am, by everyone who wants to be on it.
Yeah, because
really.
it's like respect. It's like they're paying respect.
Exactly, and
without even meaning to. It's a sign of respect.
And I really do appreciate everyone who does ask, but it gets to a like I can't imagine what a big podcast go through, like having to say no to like close friends to not be. It's like, 2 times a week, it sounds like it's a lot, but I feel like a lazy piece of shit. I feel like I need to do 4 podcasts a week. And like I don't have enough time in the day to invite everyone on that I want to be on or asks to be on. And then I feel like
Also
a dick
coordinating.
saying and then I feel like
You're not the only one. You got 1 or 2 producers at any given time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like 4 personalities and schedules that all have to jive.
And I'm doing stand up. And but I just don't have enough time in the day, and I've learned to say no, and I still feel bad about it, but there comes a time of a day where it's like you have to say no.
Yeah.
Like I can't. If I said yes to everyone, I'd be an insane person.
I just started getting better doing that with guys I work for, where it's just like, dude, I'm working for you, but at the end of the day, I work for myself. And like, if you're switching schedules up, then, if I was said I'm going to be there a day and then you change that day, that's on you. You can't all of a sudden expect me to just show up and meet deadlines, et cetera, et cetera. And so I kind of and I say that like I've only got a few people that I work for here and there, but it's hard, man. Cause like you want to just be like, all right, I'll figure out a way. I'll take care of it. Like work it out. Cause you've been keeping me busy and I've been doing work for you. And so like you feel an obligation to like say yes. But at the end of the day, like you got to do what's best for number one. But it's hard, dude. Like, especially with friends, man, you just want to help people out. Like I'm a sucker, dude. I've helped more people move their shit from one place to the next than I think anybody I know. I bet you I can fucking hold my own numbers wise against anybody.
You really are like a very giving dude. You really are. Like
it's my favorite thing to do.
I hope you don't take offense to this because I don't know, but like I feel like people
it's really hard to
I feel like people get the like wrong impression of you.
They absolutely, I know they do. And I like that though.
Yeah.
I like being misunderstood because that's on you. That's not on me. If you're just willing to fucking hang out with me for a small extended period of time and learn who I am, then it's a wrap. So
yeah.
So like if you want to misunderstand me, then that's on you. But also, I have a big problem with my aunt said like you have a big thing where like you really want to control how you're perceived by everybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily you care what people think of you, but you kind of want to control what the perception of you is. And that's something I'm trying to let go of. But yeah, it's like, I enjoy that. I like it's like Will Ferrell. I think Will Ferrell's fucking, some people don't like his humor. I think he's a fucking genius.
He is. Yeah.
And I think in his genius is the fact that like the characters he plays are absolute buffoons, but they exist in these realities where like everybody else is just a normal human being, you know what I mean, and acts accordingly to, you know what I mean, their character. And he's this absolute caricature of a human being, and he'll say things and nobody calls him out, you know what I mean? Like it's just like they let it like go under, like sweep under the rug and just like move on to the next thing. And it's like, oh, this guy's a fucking moron. But really, he's like one of the smartest people. You know what I mean? Like, and he plays to that.
I actually never thought about it like that, but that's really true.
And that's how I like to operate. I will say something that I know is the dumbest thing that someone could say in that moment, knowing that I don't really mean it or like really think that. And that some people are dumb enough to think that I believe that, and that's on them. And if you know me well enough, I'm being sarcastic, and that I'm not claiming to be the smartest guy in the room, but I know I'm not the dumbest guy in the room either.
Man, that unlocked something in my brain. Like for real, you saying that, because growing up, I was like told I had to be very proper. And that's why people would like me, is if I wore vineyard vines, I didn't say anything, I stayed. And then I realized that those people are very unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when like,
because they don't get to live there.
I think people, Shamil can attest to this. People see me and people like make fun of me for having rappers on the podcast, but they don't watch it. They don't understand who I am. Like, I know how I dress. I know that I smoke a lot of weed. I know how people perceive me, But I think it's the same thing. Like if you spend time with me, or if you listen to a podcast,
it's pretty obvious who you are and like what you're about.
Exactly. And that's what I want. Like I want to be liked by everyone.
It's a classic thing in the world that we it's just a classic dynamic, dude. It's people projecting their insecurities out, whatever form it's in. It's like you just don't have a broad taste in music. You just listen to country. That's the only thing you listen to. And I'm sorry, but like you got shitty taste in. I'm not saying you might have some good taste in country, but that's like unless you like are willing to open your heart up to like different ideas and different things, you're always going to be closed-minded in certain areas, and that's on you, brother. Like that's not on us.
I'm getting emotional as shit just thinking about. I'm not even joking. Like I am getting very emotional.
Well, I'm sorry, Sam, but
no, I like it because
sometimes we get real.
Like I think this is so stupid of a thought, but it's real. Like it's like man slut shaming, where it's like I enjoy wearing what I.
We do that to each other, dude.
And people, and it's like I think I get perceived a certain way because of how I dress. Honestly, but that's how I was dressed.
It's a tale as old as time.
Until high school, until high school, until I moved out after high school. I was like forced, like I wouldn't be able to live where I was if I didn't dress a certain way.
Not by my parents, but just by my environment. You're preaching the choir, dude. I was the exact same way.
So it's
because there were certain things like I thought now I would never do it because it's a shitty look. There was a time where I was like, I'd love to wear a fedora, but like none of my friends would ever like really rock a fedora. So if I showed up and it'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It's like the Bill Burr bit, dude. What are you, a fag? Like I grew up, I'm fucking almost 40, dude. I grew up in that era of like, what the fuck is this guy wearing? Where it's like, I don't know. I think it's fashionable. I think it's kind of cool. I wanted to try it out. And like, it wasn't until I graduated high school and started living on my own, or even really like moved to New York. Literally like 2010, I would say. So like, I'm like 20, fucking 7 almost at the time in 2010. So, it wasn't until I'm like almost 30 years old that I felt comfortable like wearing different shit because I lived in New York where it's just a boiling pot of fashion and fucking, you know what I mean? I lived in the Village, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got pride left and right. Like, and I was like, fuck it. I could dress however I want and people aren't going to say shit. Yeah. They're going to judge me for who I am. So I was wearing fucking Newsies hat. I mean, I see some of the pictures and I look like a fucking tool, but I was like, I like had the freedom to just kind of dress how I wanted because I didn't have the restrictions of like the environment you grow up in and the cliques you become a part of that just like, they all look exact. You see these motherfuckers out at the bar. They're still out with the same high school friends. And like, those are the same college friends are the only friends that they have. And the same work friends, they all fucking look exactly the same, dude. They might not be wearing the same colors, but it's the same general look. And it's just like not a single, and I hate that when I end up looking like one of my friends when I go out. I'm trying to separate. And so that's why I enjoy the people misunderstanding me, because that's what separates me. It's like, it's cool to be misunderstood. Like, why do you want people to fucking have you completely figured? Why would you want people to have you completely figured out? Then you're vulnerable.
I also want to prove to myself. I was about to say prove to them, but that's not true. It's not true. I want to prove to myself that I can be 100% who I truly am.
Yeah.
And make it. And that people will respect me being me.
Yeah.
Because
I couldn't agree with you more. The world
tells you that you shouldn't be who you truly are.
Yeah, but who? Because think about anybody that's really successful. They did their own thing.
That's what, okay. The Weeknd, I don't know how you feel, but he has this thing where it's like, he was homeless. He lived in his car. He spent all his money on recording time. He was a drug addict too, but he lived in his car. He's still a drug addict, but he's a rich drug addict. He lived in his car.
Do you want another beer?
No, I'm still
Keep talking.
drinking
I'm going to
mine.
run and
All
get a
right,
beer.
perfect.
I'm going off camera, people.
And he was talking, and so he was homeless. Sorry, I'm just.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
I was listening.
I know I'm drunk and stoned off one beer.
I'm listening to the story.
Oh, Arnie, sweetheart.
I'm drunk,
I'm
drunk off
glad
one
to hear
beer
your
and
voice.
a little stoned. I'm sorry.
Is
You're
Irish?
having a great time, and so am I. I
Well,
want to listen.
You were homeless. Like if you gave your dreams up and went homeless, like if you went for your dreams and were homeless, the same people who are like, could you believe The Weeknd was homeless and is now famous, wouldn't support you. You can own that stuff is only good once you make it. Like me not making money off the podcast, I will be honest. Me not making money off the podcast at all means that the podcast is bullshit because that's the way that the world plays.
Nah.
I enjoy every
By
night.
who? The gatekeeper? By who? Like, but who's the gatekeeper
I
of?
don't agree with that either.
Yeah, I don't-
Because if I
because
if
this
I
is a
do
different. This is a different
if
industry.
I do this forever and I never make money, I need a source of money.
Well, here's
I
the thing.
want to prove to people that I can do this and make money off of it. But once I do that, that is in the world that we're set up in, the game that we play, what is life. We need to make money off of our art.
True. But like you're planting a seed right now and you got to see what that turns into and
And I'm
grows.
never
And if
gonna-
it grows and blossoms or does something and you don't fucking nurture it and it dies, then yeah, then you need to reevaluate and move on. But like you can't say it's shit because like you don't have the validation of like monetization or like X number of views. Like you
I don't
have,
need that validation, but I need that validation. Okay, I don't need that validation.
But you said like who? Like it's like you're almost doing like the they thing. Like the they don't say that my podcast is like, there is no fucking they, dude. Anybody who says they say that this or they say, there's really no they. They is just like a perceived thing, dude. You know, and especially nowadays, dude, there really are no gatekeepers. And the people who truly do their own thing, like end up, it's the ones who stick to it, dude. It's the resilient motherfuckers, man. It's like the sperm, like these guys, the one guy is going to make it. You know, everyone else trails off. They're all making that. They're all doing the same race. They're all going for that same goal, but only one motherfucker's getting in. And that's the one who's the most resilient one. It's the same thing with like, there's so many analogies for it, but we're all, it's like people just fall off, dude. Like climbing Mount Everest.
I'm
People get
never-
cold,
and
they
I'm
drop off.
never
Like,
gonna
you're just,
give up.
are you going to get to the top of
and
it?
I think people who know me know that I'll never give up.
But if there's people that never give up that are delusional. Like sometimes it's like, yeah, dude, like you should give up. Like you're just not good at this. But then there's people who see enough evidence and enough signs and believe enough in what they're doing that like, yeah, I am good at this. Maybe they aren't saying that I'm good enough at it, but I've seen enough evidence that I'm going to keep pushing and keep growing little by little by little until it is validated.
So, okay, I'm going to repurpose what I'm saying in a way where it's like, I hear a lot of people use depression and anxiety as an excuse.
Because let me, before I forget this
Yeah.
point, because you talked about the homeless, you know, the Weeknd being homeless and whatever. And like, that's the way he did it. He was willing to like be homeless to chase his dreams. And like, you only like, I feel like some people think that's the only way to do it. Like you have to go all in on this one thing. If that's what you want to do. And truly, I think like, yeah, like you need to devote like so much attention to these things if you want to be successful. But I have and like, I really truly do want to do like some of the things we've talked about, but I've never had the balls to be a starving artist. I just have never been willing to give up like hanging out with my friends, going on an occasional vacation here and there, and like being a true starving artist. And I decided later in life, like, fuck it. I wanted to start my own business. I finally did that. I'm going to use this. And like people are telling me I'm crazy. Like you can't run a business and try to do stand up and then do a podcast. Like how's your business going to be successful? Like you need to go all in and focus on the business. What I'm telling them is, well, I'm going to be the first person in history then ever who started you know what I mean, who did both and made it.
Okay,
And that's my point. And that's kind of, I guess the point I was making, where it's like, you can do your own thing, and I've decided, fuck it, it's gonna be different. My path will be different.
You'll be able to. Bruiser Wolf. I was playing him before we started. He signed to Danny Brown. Bruiser Wolf, 40 years old, was a professional arena football player. Was it a championship winning arena football player? You went into the drug game because he didn't know how to save his money. Was stopped that, started a landscaping company, became a successful landscape company. At 40 years old, puts out his debut album with Danny Brown.
That's dope.
That gets written up in Pitchfork and Spin and Complex as one of the best albums in the year. Fuck, he was on my podcast. If you want to hear
shout out to Bruiser Wolf.
If you want to hear that story, listen to it on my podcast, episode whatever he was on. But for real, like, he did that. You like.
Yeah, so that's why but it's tough. But it's tough though, because what you're talking about though, that's kind of the point I was making, is to what you were talking about. Like, it's tough when there's all these preconceived notions about how it's supposed to be done. And to speak to that, you know this, doing comedy, there's plenty of people who like come up and give you advice. You should really like of how it's supposed to be done. And I'm not claiming to I know shit when it comes to like how to really do comedy well. I take everyone's advice and everyone's opinions with a grain of salt, and I don't try to like take it as like an insult. But like, you hear the best of the best talk about it. They say there's no one way to fucking do it. So like, if you, I think it's so ironic sometimes how these people are such huge fans of comedy, but then they miss the whole point of like what you know what I mean, what some of these guys are talking about, where it's like, just be funny. There's ways. Yeah. Obviously there's
people,
there's certain etiquettes and certain like protocols, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, like, you're supposed to just be funny, right? So I don't know. And there's those people who like a Stephen Wright, who they're like, yeah, that's not going to fucking work. And he's just like, I don't know how else to, this is who I am.
Yeah. I know this is changing, going back to subjects.
Let's go all over.
But then there's people who actually support, and there's people who fake support. And that's something that's going back to the saying no. That is where I really have learned, is like, I know who really supports me.
And guess what?
And you are a real supporter. You are a real,
thank you,
a friend.
I appreciate
that.
For
real.
I appreciate that.
You're one of the most, like,
and vice versa. Respect. I love you, dude.
Love you too.
The fake supporters, you know who you are, and it's sad because we know who you are. So just know that we both know what's going on, and so it's only uncomfortable for you, because I don't give a fuck. I like who fucks with me, and I don't give a fuck who doesn't. And if you want to be a fake supporter, I'll play that game with you, but just know I don't care. So you're the only one who has to feel uncomfortable playing up this character so that you don't feel awkward around me. You know what I mean? But then in turn, it makes you end up feeling like you're the one who's going out of your way to like, so
this
good
is
for
gonna
you.
Sound so weird, but it's a story.
Let's get weird, baby.
I matched with a girl. I'd say.
Now we're going to Tinder.
3 girls on Tinder.
This is a well-rounded podcast, Sam. I mean,
we also never explained why Muslim titties is how we became friends. We just said that and moved on.
Doesn't that make it better?
It does. But I matched with 3 different girls on Tinder who all just coming up in conversation. I've said that I had a podcast, and they have listened. And they've said really nice things. Now, I know this is girls I met on Tinder, but I can tell when someone really listens and says something instead of just like, oh, I listen. And those 3 girls wrote nicer things than 75% of what my friends have ever said to me about that. Cucks.
Tinder girls are nicer to your friend than you are, you fucking pieces of shit.
And I'm not trying to because there are friends who are very supportive, but it's just so funny to me. Like,
so I got one for that. and I imagine it was one of your episodes. But okay, so here's a perfect example. Early on, I had tons of technical difficulties. I fucked up sound on some episodes.
We recorded episodes for 2 years that never.
Dude,
that never got
I
recorded.
fucking Woody Two Shoes is a long time coming, dude. It took me forever to just fucking kind of get some consistency. But I finally got to the point where it's like, I got to put some stuff out, and like I'm not gonna waste a whole like 2 hours of your life to have you come over and then not post the episode. Shout out to Sonny Dennis. I love you. I'm so sorry. And I think you're never going to come on my podcast again because of that. But because I keep asking.
He's a nice ass dude.
I like that kid a lot.
Listen to my episode with Sonny Dennis too. That was a great episode.
I enjoyed you on his podcast. I listened to that. I haven't heard him on yours yet, but you guys had a good one. I was listening to that. So shout out to Sonny Dennis. Shunny boy. Fuck. I'm definitely buzzed. So I just posted. I was like, fuck it, I'm putting it up. And all of a sudden, well, no, because I guess I kind of attacked first, but we know someone's podcast that we don't like. And
I'm gonna cut this conversation off before we're not even.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. No, I would never. I would never.
Cool,
yeah, I would never say names. Absolutely not. I know the game, baby.
Attention is the universal currency, so I don't give currency to people.
Correct.
I don't like.
No. Anywho, the point is, and they're talking shit like, audio. Anyway, that's regardless of that, because the point was girls, right? This chick who I had hooked up with a couple times and hadn't spoke to in forever, messaged me like, hey, listen to the podcast. Audio kind of sucks or something. Like audio's a little fucked up, bro. And I was like, oh, hey, nice to hear from you. Like I was like, hey, or something. I was like, that's the first thing you had to say to me. Like after I haven't spoken to you in months is like,
is this a girl you hooked up with?
Yeah.
Oh, she's just trying to like cuck you.
Yeah. She wanted to hook up again. And she was like, when can I be on the podcast? I'm like, never, if you're going to fucking talk to me. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like you're going to insult me and then you want to be on the podcast?
Yeah, because there's girls that are funny mean, and I love funny mean, and then there's girls who are unfunny.
The problem is, people, and this is why
and
I don't
there are
like
funny females, but some of you are very unfunny.
I fucking love emojis, and this is why you need. I'm making I'm advocating for why people need to use emojis, is because if you're trying to be sarcastic in a text and you don't use emojis, you're gonna fuck some shit up, dude, and you're gonna miscommunicate with people. And I didn't realize that. Like, that's what sucks. That's why Tinder, look, whatever. I'm not good at it. You're good at it. We're gonna
release a video of Thacher sliding in his first DM.
But that could be an ongoing series of like you teaching me young people shit. Where that I'm just like, I don't fucking get it. Cause it's like you try to be funny or sarcastic and it just sounds weird, man. Like, I don't understand why you're like, hey, you want to hang out? And they're like, let's get to know each other first. I'm like, isn't that what the fucking first date's about? Like, isn't that like this whole getting to know each other stuff is bullshit, because every time you type something at first, I used to think it was great because it's like, oh, I don't have to just say something and then regret it. I can think about what I'm about to say. But now it's turned into this thing where it's just contrived, dude. All these conversations are just like overthought because you don't want to say the wrong thing. And there's protocols. Like if you write back, you can't write back right away because it makes you seem thirsty and desperate. So you got to write back in an hour. And then don't say this. And then I was just like, fuck that. So why can't we just
attention? Yeah. So give them the attention, and if they don't like you, stop giving them attention. But the whole I'm gonna wait to text them.
No, it's because that's
I know it's just people
say shit that I thought was like I'm trying to just try different stuff out.
I'm also gonna warn listeners and Ani that this podcast is going long.
All right, I like it. I agree that podcasts should be short, but whatever. We can cut this into 4 different parts. I don't give a fuck, dude. I got nowhere to go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. We're gonna set the bucked up record here
you
today.
Are a bar. You like go into bars with like you, and I don't like going after like girls.
What do you mean?
Like I don't like I've hooked up. I got the hookup stuff out of my system.
I'm just old school, dude.
But
I'm
like,
traditional. You fucking
no.
You
I
court girls. You pursue them. You go on a date.
I would rather
It doesn't
follow
work
my
out, you
podcast.
say,
I
fuck
choose
off.
comedy over I choose comedy over dates all the time. Like if I can hit a mic or if I can go on a date, I choose comedy.
Yeah, well, I just need to get laid, dude. So I'm going on a date.
You don't need to get laid.
I need to get laid, Sam. Listen, you want to bring up and review the footage earlier? I was talking about my porno. Dude, I know all the names. Like I recognize the dicks.
Why'd you whisper that? You recognize the dicks.
Because I felt like it was funnier if I like.
There's sometimes that
because I know everyone can hear me, but it's like right. That's I thought we're doing comedy, dude. I thought that's how you do it. Like
no, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna ruin relationships because of that. I ruined my last relationship because like I choose comedy first.
When you're in the relationship. Yeah, but
I'm not gonna name names, but you know my ex. Yeah, but I told her that I'll choose comedy over her.
Right, but there's ways to have a healthy balance.
100%.
And you just because I think.
But in your 20s,
dude, she fell victim to you just starting out comedy. So like you didn't quite know what your routine and your rhythm was. You know what I'm saying? So like now that the next girl that comes along, like
right, so you're
already gonna be in your routine. So like if she wants to fuck with you in your routine, now you got a down bitch.
I'm not gonna listen to Woody Two Shoes. Great podcast.
Don't say I'm not gonna anything. Look,
no, you're hard. You're hard on yourself putting episodes out.
Oh yeah. Where I thought you were about to like insult me and
no,
like, I'm not gonna.
No, you're hard putting episodes out.
Yeah,
because you do a lot of the work yourself.
Yeah.
Does anything hold you back from like people are gonna see this? Certain people.
No, and I think sometimes I think about that though when I'm on jobs where I'm like, it's so easy for people that I'm like are clients of mine to seek this content out and like find be like, this is who's fucking working on my house right now. This guy, Jesus, I thought he seemed so like proper and professional. Like that's how he really. But like, I kind of talk like that on the job a little bit. Like I try to treat Sam's like, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm like,
Sam, your brother.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's how I would that's how I would send this text to anybody. So why wouldn't I just send this text to that guy? Because if we're going to continue a working relationship, shouldn't he understand who he's dealing with instead? Like, it's like we're talking about, why should I be like this fake person for him? Just because we're in a professional,
has that ever gotten you in trouble? Has that ever gotten you in trouble?
Like working for other people where I'm just like get loud and I start cussing or I'll say some crazy shit. And next thing you know, like the neighbors come and they tell my boss, they'll say to my boss, my foreman,
wait, what?
And then I'll get the word.
Tell me these stories.
Oh, nothing like I can't remember what I said specifically, but I'm just loud, dude. And when you're doing sidewalling and we had big crews sometimes. So this guy's like all over this house and you've got one laborer maybe, or like two laborers, and the shit you need, like it's like a race, dude. It's all this bravado bullshit. Like I got to put on more square than the next guy so I can be the top dog, so the boss will love me more. Like it's such a shitty environment and mentality to have. It's so toxic, dude. Construction is like from like you want to talk about like the country and like mental health and shit. Like let's like pay our construction workers better. Like they're just way underpaid, dude. And like the top dogs make good money, but then at the bottom, it's just, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, you get paid for as good as you are. I'm not saying I don't know. It's just crazy, but just the way
I would say
way crews are run, like what you're expected to do and the amount of break time you get. And there's no really like most construction crews, landscape crews, shit like that. They don't have 401ks. They don't have, it's only like the biggest.
But that's why they get addicted to pills. If you look at Cape Cod,
dude,
if you look at the heroin problem on Cape Cod, you look at landscapers,
Yep.
you look at construction, they work really hard jobs that hurt their body. So then doctors prescribe them,
or they just want to drink and then they smoke a little weed. Then you do, I mean, dude, all of that stuff.
But for real, like this is the doctors prescribe them pills for the pain because they usually get hurt on the job, especially on Cape Cod because there's a lot of those jobs and you work hard.
Yeah.
And then they get off the pills. They're still addicted to that substance. There's a reason there's a documentary, Heroin Cape Cod, USA.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
which a lot of people around here didn't like because it didn't really delve, or at least for what I gather, it didn't delve so much into how they're working on solutions, and et cetera, and more from like the medical field and et cetera. They felt like it just more glorified the addiction itself and followed like the people that were addicted and their lives, and less of like the whole picture of the community, at least. And I'm totally like
you talked
generalizing.
You talked about, and we don't have to, if you don't, I'll change subjects, but you talked about that you've done coke a few times.
Yep.
In your life. Have you ever done anything hard? Like, did you ever go?
I've smoked cocaine on top of a bowl in high school. So
that was it.
As close. Yeah. I mean, that's not smoking crack.
Because like,
that's the
I've
closest
never
thing
even
I've come.
taken any pills.
I've never shot. I've never used needles. Yes, basically smoking cocaine on the top of a bowl was probably.
Did you ever have a drinking problem?
I think it was a time where I felt like I did, but I don't think I ever did. And I don't know if that was just a result of like, cause I have, both of my parents were alcoholics, and I come from, and I have like one of the most addictive personalities someone can have. So I feel like it'd be very easy for me, but, I just never dug alcohol as much as I liked smoking weed. So weed kind of got me real early.
You can be high as shit, and I feel like you'll still get angry. Like most people, once they're high, they're like,
yeah, that's because I'm bipolar. Like we said, like and I also can talk my head off. That is funny. My brother, like one time I was like,
do you think your anger stems from somewhere, or do you think you actually like, do you honestly think like bipolar, it's something that it's like, it doesn't stem from anything. This is just part of my personality.
I was like, you watch film of me as a kid, and I'm like insane, dude. Like I don't stop moving. I don't shut the fuck up. I'm just like crazy. And then I would get, yeah, I think I've always been like that. I don't know if it comes from somewhere. Like maybe there's some suppressed shit that I don't know about. I don't fucking know. Was I touched?
Did you?
Like, I don't know. If I suppressed it, how would I know? I don't think I was. Like my parents had me in Sunday school, and I was like, I don't like this. And they took me out of it. So like, thank God, because I never like had to stay in Sunday school. But I don't know. Did something happen? Oh, I do. Here's the thing. I actually talked about this with a friend of mine. I used to like hold my shits in all the time. I would never just like get to the bathroom on time. I'd be always out caught like holding my shits. I do this crossing my legs things. Probably did that when I was real little. But I think when I was at a babysitter's, I might have shit myself. And I don't know if the lady hit me or not, because I don't remember, because I was so young. But I remember being like upset. And I think I told my mom I don't want to go back. But I remember my mom never brought me back to that babysitter again. So maybe I got like beat up by a babysitter because I shit my pants one time. I don't know. Like I really don't, Sam. I don't. I like because I wonder. I honestly wonder. I was like, where's my anger come from? Because it's there, dude. And my parents got divorced, but it never upset. Like I didn't feel upset at the time. I don't know. Like I try to analyze it. I did. It was funny. I was telling my brother, I was like at work by myself, shingling one day, and I had a thought about like growing up and my dad, and how like certain dynamic is a reason why I am a certain way. Like I do certain things a certain way, but I'm such a fucking pothead that the next day I couldn't think of specifically what that thing was. But it still gave me a little bit of peace, because I was like, well, I did have a realization that like gave me some like I learned something about myself. Like I figured something about myself out that I might not have realized before. And that like gave me a little bit of peace of mind. I was like, all right, well, you know what? Maybe don't fucking beat yourself up about that thing so much, because that's probably just a result of this. And I wish I could think of the exact thing. I'll probably think of it someday when I'm just like chilling.
So you said you were crazy as a kid. Did you
just like energy?
Did they ever put you on medication or anything?
No, thank God. I really like, and I just think it was a result of like having a single mother that just didn't have time to fucking figure, like it was just like, I gotta pay the bills, and like, you kids are alive, you seem well adjusted enough, so like I don't see any reason to,
Yeah.
because I was always a smart kid growing up, I was in, like, just fucking ADD to the max. And then later in life, I'm realizing that I have OCD big time. Like I get like, I'll get thoughts that I hear when you hear people who like are diagnosed with it talk about it, you're like, oh shit. That's all that is. Like, why the fuck? I thought I was a lunatic. Like, I thought I was a psychopath. I probably just have ADD. I have all the D's. ADD, OCD. Bipolar doesn't have a D in it, but I'm probably that.
So like, we're comedians, which
I
means,
don't. No. You're a comedian. I'm a construction worker.
Okay, but
I don't like consider myself. I do comedy, but I would never consider myself comedian until I booked enough, until I got paid for it respectfully, at least like once for a legitimate show. And then I would consider myself a comedian.
I consider myself a comedian, but we both do comedy.
We both do comedy. Thanks, Sam, for clarifying.
So there's something about us that's not normal. It's a stereotype. Comedians are like a little like, there's something wrong, and that's why they do it. So when I hear people like say like, oh, I have this, sometimes I relate to it, whether it be ADHD or even dyslexia. And then I think, are these just like things that humans have and we just want to diagnose ourselves with it? Or are there actually people who are just like normal?
No, I think everyone has them. I think to some extent,
do you think
we all have them?
It helps or makes it worse?
Let's say that again.
You're like, if you went to a doctor,
yep,
and you took the test and you were diagnosed bipolar, do you think that would help your life or hinder your life?
I've thought about it, actually doing that, and I've had talks about it with family members. Because, I've been told that they have people in their life that, got diagnosed, finally got on medication, and it was like a fog was lifted. I've heard comedians talk about, what I mean? It's like, it's like a common thread in what they're talking about. People who are diagnosed and then get on medication. Like when you get on the right medication, it's like, I can't remember what the analogy was, but it's like this whole weight's lifted. It's like you were living in this fog your whole life, and like now you feel normal, you think. And so I wonder, like, or should I just like, that's just a part of my personality, and that fucked up part of my personality contributes to my crazy sense of humor and my ability to approach situations differently. So it's one of those things where it's conflicted and also it's that, what are you, a fag shit? Like, dude, I grew up in a real, like, athlete playing sports, like masculine bullshit. Where like, you know what I mean? Emotion, there's no room for emotion. You know what I mean? Like are you crying? Like there's no crying in baseball, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And so, it's tough.
When I hear medication, I'm 23 years old, and I'm not a doctor. Duh. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. But when I hear people like going on medication, I get like I'm scared. And I think like I have outbursts of anger. And I have things that like I feel like I can't control, but that's why I try so hard to meditate and like work out and be healthy, because I believe that is the way to take care of yourself. And I'm not saying this for everyone, because I feel like that is just the ignorance is bliss thing. Like ignorance, if I believe, like, it's ignorant for me to believe that medication won't help some people.
I think you need to be angry though. I think it's healthy. I think
I feel like those medications dull you. Like I feel every friend who's been on it says after a certain period, they feel dull.
All right. Well, I feel like you gotta try it. It's like, try it. right? If you not you specifically, but anybody out there, me, like if I get to a point where I just feel like maybe it's an option, then try it and see how it makes me feel.
And this is why I'm scared
And then,
to
but
do
then
that.
also be willing to like listen to people's like what they're saying objectively. Like don't get sensitive if your personality starts changing, people are like, hey man, you're being a little sense or whatever. Don't then be resistant to that. Like be open to hear the feedback and then make a decision and make a call on like, do I like this medication or not? Because here's like, I got my tooth pulled. I got put on fucking Tylenol, codeine, or like oxycodone or some shit like that. Didn't like. I don't like pills, dude. I didn't like. Never really liked Adderall. Makes me my fucking jitter like crazy, dude. I don't like pills. Period. And so, yeah. So the idea of medication is like.
And I'm
I
also
don't know.
scared that like with Adderall, like I've seen so many people addicted to it and fiend for it.
Adderall's different.
And it's like I get so, and I know
Adderall's for,
that I'm
like,
not gonna
ADD.
get. I know I'm
Adderall's-
not gonna get addicted to like not the, but like I feel like I went to a therapist once. It was a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, so he couldn't. But he
What's the
wanted-
difference?
Psychiatrists can prescribe you medicine.
That's it. It's the only difference. They're literally the same profession.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wanted me to start taking Adderall. And I was like really against it. And I was, because I know how addictive of a personality I have. And I know how I see other people react to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know I'm never
It
gonna
is not
I'm
good.
never gonna take something like that.
No, like
that I'm gonna get
documented, like
yeah.
proven it is.
It's-
When you abuse it, it fucks your brain up really badly. And I know people that I've worked with in the past that abused it and they just changed. It's just like you're just like they're talking to me and I'm like, I can't believe you're explaining this to me right now. Like I don't know this. You're like, are you forgetting who I am? Like you're just so caught. It's almost like because it gets your brain like uber focused, but like that can go like too much of anything is a bad thing, right? So it almost gets to a point where they're so uber focused that they can't see any of the outside picture anymore and don't even realize it's just like it's all my thoughts, and like nobody else's opinions or thoughts and like they forget that like other people's opinions have value and not everyone else is fucking retarded. You know what I mean? Like we can work through this thing. Like
I also feel like it is like childhood stuff. Like I wanted to be diagnosed for ADHD when I was a kid.
You wanted to be.
Yeah, I asked my mom and she was like, no. And I think that is like if I'm not diagnosed, I don't have it. And that mentality is like, well, if I don't know I don't have it, then like, why would I need to be medicated for it?
I mean, I know I have it because shit we talk about how my inability to focus on like one or two things at a time where because I have so like, it's like almost like, oh, how can I just quiet the fucking some of the thoughts in my head? Because, call it ego, whatever. I'm a narcissist. Fine. Fuck you guys. I have a lot of great ideas and I know I do. And I share them sometimes and people are like, that's a great idea. But I don't fucking follow through on them. And then because of that becomes a big point of insecurity because it's like, oh, there's Woody like talking about a thing again that he's never going to do. So then that starts creeping into your mind and you get fucking.
But isn't that what literally everyone goes through? That's what I mean. It's
and it's the motherfuckers who push that shit aside and trudge through and say, fuck it. I don't care. I'm just going to do anyway.
Because everyone I meet that I think is successful has their own thing. It's like we're all going through shit. I don't think we all need to be. And this is a thing. This is a proven thing. I know I sound like an idiot talking about things I don't know about. But honestly, it is a thing. People being overdiagnosed and overprescribed. And it's so scary to see it happen that I'm so worried to even step toe into the pool.
Here's the thing. There are too many I'm not saying like, I'm not like advocating for like population control or anything, but dude, there are too many people. There are too many things that have been created. There are too many niche avenues for things. There's too much of everything. and everybody's over medicated, and like you get all the dude. It just happens. I don't know, like too much. Again, too much of anything. So like, yeah, I think in the public eye, there's that's a problem. We know that's a problem, but there's still the normal ones out there that are not over medicated, that are just like well-rounded.
But
you know,
my friend Sydney on
people also
this podcast
everybody is
described
fucked up, dude. We're all fucked up, and it's it's the ones who just accept that they're fucked up that can just move along. You know what I mean? It's like the Marine that knows he's dead already is a better Marine than the guy who's going into the fight scared shitless. Like he just doesn't have the right mentality for the game. And I think that's it, dude. We're all fucked up. We all have our issues, dude. Some of the shit that pops into my head is crazy. And I'm like, and that's the thing. You think you're fucked up. You're like, nobody else thinks these thoughts. Like, I can't believe I thought a thing like that. I must be the most fucked up human being in the world. When really, like, we all have those intrusive thoughts that are like the craziest thing anybody could think of. But you can't help it, dude. Like, consciousness is a fucked up thing. And trying to like control it is weird.
But isn't that what like life? See, I don't know what when you're 23, and you probably relate, and anyone who is probably relates at this age, it's about you're trying to figure out what the game is.
Hey,
now this goes, and I know
good luck,
everyone
motherfucker.
until
I still
the
don't
end.
know what the game
I know,
is.
I
And
know everyone. I know
hey.
when you're 93 and you're on your deathbed, you'll be saying the same thing.
Right.
But honestly, coming out, like not being able to make money off of this and feel like that's what I know that I want to just push through, and everyone else gets to blame anxiety and depression and I feel that. I feel like I have horrible anxiety. I feel like I have a bad depression, but like I just push through it because it's like, isn't that the game?
Well, here's the thing.
To get to the end of what you want, like
yeah, but some people use it as an excuse, and I think sometimes I say things like that because it's easy, because it's better to like say, oh, I suffer from depression, I fucking have OCD, I have rage, so then that justifies me shitbagging. You know what I mean? So like some
that's what
people
everyone
use
does,
right?
That's
so
what everyone does. So then it makes me feel like I can do it. It feels like I can use that excuse.
That doesn't mean that it's not a real thing and that it doesn't exist. It just means you're almost like using it as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of accepting it's a real thing and addressing it and figuring out how to work with it as a part of your life, as opposed to like use it like, so it can either be an excuse for why you're failing, not you specifically, right? But like you said, people, you hate that people can just get to use it as an excuse. Well, that's on them. Because they want to use an excuse. They want
I
that
want
to be,
use it as an excuse too.
Okay, but don't. All right. How about if you think it's something that you want to maybe look into, address it. And that's what I was saying. Like, so some people use an excuse, and some people recognize that it's just something that they have to. It's not going to go away. It's part of their personality, and they're going to have to deal with it. And how do I work with this in my life? Because this is a part of my life. So if I can't deal with it, like if we can't deal with this and address it and learn how to work with it, it's going to cripple us. And then it's just going to be an excuse as opposed to just be a part of me.
You know, when people are like when you hear about like a writer who goes sober and they are like, I never thought I could do it because I thought that substance was the thing pushing me.
Yeah.
I feel that. But I feel like it's not the same thing with self-hatred. I feel like the self-hatred and the motivation of like that pushes me, but I don't know if I get rid of that, am I still motivated? Is that when people fall off, is when they're like, oh, I don't have this motivation to like prove that I'm not a nobody anymore.
I think they're just doing it for the wrong reasons. Because like at the end of the day, why are you doing this? Do you want success to measure against? Do you want to like have success that you can measure against other people to like give you status, or do you just have you like gotten into podcasts and you just love the idea of what a podcast is and doing it so much that you want to do it, but you don't want but you like it so much that you don't want to do anything else. So you want to make money doing this so that you don't have to do any other shit that you don't want to do. Because kind of like that's where I'm at mentally, is like I want to be successful. Like I want to have I have delusions of grandeur. I'm willing to admit that. Like I'm fucking crazy, dude. I'm egotistical, I'm narcissistic. I fucking think it's amazing that there's people like Elon Musk in the world, or like Abraham Lincoln, like this, like, you know what I mean? Like Evander Holyfield just got a fucking statue of him unveiled in whatever city that'll be there until it fucking, they take it down or it crumbles. Like that's fucking dope.
Or he gets canceled.
Yeah. And yeah, we all know what he did. But like that's what I want, but I'm willing to accept that like that might not happen. And like that's, I think some people's problem is they're not willing to accept that, and they just live in this depression of like, I'll never live up to my potential, or like I wanted to be that thing, and then they resent the other people that are doing that thing. And that's where all that fucking hate comes from, man. It's like that's all it is, dude. It's like we keep coming back to it. It's just people's own insecurities projecting onto you.
But
It's like the people that said you shouldn't do a podcast are the people that wanted to do a podcast and don't have one set up yet, and are like, fuck, dude, Sam's doing one. And it's almost like it's this, they don't even realize they're doing it, but it's like it's that insecurity shit, dude.
I want to go back to a point you said earlier in that rant, as you were,
I have a tendency to rant.
No, but it was really, you were talking like, why are you doing this?
Okay.
You know, you were like, is it because of this? Is it because I like?
Oh yeah, I asked the question. Yeah.
And I was
because
I really was thinking about that.
Because you keep talking about monetization.
That's not why I'm doing it.
Right.
I'm doing this because, and I've been talking about this on past episodes, and I hope I don't sound crazy, and maybe I do, but I believe that like God, the universe, energy, whatever word you want to put in that, has a path for me. And I don't know what that path is, but it gets like lit up in front of me. It's like I'm walking down a path and lights keep coming on that guide me. And those are omens. And I know I've talked about it. Those are omens, but I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know, but like things that have been in my past so deep, far down, that I never thought would help me now, pain and shit like that. But that also, like, that is the like spiritual guide. And that's how I believe that the world does work. But the world also really does work in a money sense. Money runs the world is I'm not just pulling that out of my ass.
No, it's true. And
so that's where my path isn't lighting up. And that's where I'm like, that's where all my like self-hatred, and that's where really this whole, I guess I haven't been able to even explain it until this point, where it's like that not lighting up is the only thing that makes me question myself. And I'll never give up. And I'm saying that as I never will give up. But that's where that self-hatred and the anxiety and the depression sets in.
That'll just go away with patience. You know, like you're just maybe a little impatient right now. And because like because of the work and effort you've put in right now. Okay. I don't know if it's anger, but someone told me basically anger purely comes from failed expectations. You're angry at someone because you expected them to do something. They did something differently. You're upset because you're expected, you know? And so I think maybe because of the work you've put in and the effort you've put in right now, your expectations are that you should be further along than you are. And that's maybe causing, I mean, I'm not saying that's it. It's just a thought. And,
no, that's
something to throw
point.
out there. And it's patience. And dude, quick shout out to Gary V.
he's a lot to consume. It definitely like it is hard, like, but there are certain messages that he has that really that stuck with me, and one of them was patience. And it's tough, especially at my age, at 38 years old, because that's where a lot of some of my depression comes from, because eventually I want to have a family and I want to do this, that, and the other thing. But I know that like you said, oh, I look good for 38. Well, because I don't have fucking 3 kids. I don't have the stress of getting these kids to school and hockey practice and fucking X, Y, Z and back to A, B, C, D, and E again. Like, I just don't have all that shit, but I want all that shit eventually. But it's like, well, fucking time's running out, dude. You're getting older. Do you want to be 70? You want to be Larry King at your fucking kid's graduation? Like, you want to have a kid at 70? So that fucks with me. But then it's like, I got to get a girlfriend. I got to find that. But then that's another thing that happens to people is they're like, they start thinking that way and they settle. Like, oh, this girl's good. And maybe the better person's out there, and then and then it's a wrap, dude. And so I'm afraid of that shit.
Expecting.
Huh?
Yeah, you like expect certain things to happen. And that's why it's like you'll never find a girlfriend if you're looking for one, when the ones that you really love.
Dude, that was a big thing I learned from Gary Vee. It's tough to do, dude. But if you really if you know what you're doing and you know it's the right thing, and you know, and you believe in yourself, like if you just gotta be patient, dude, and make the right moves, and shit will pan out.
That's my battle. Like.
Patience, dude. Listen, we're Americans. We want instant results. We want the shit to happen now.
When I was a kid, I was told how impatient I was. And I was told, like,
you're like a breeze. And I swear to God, that's how I've described you to people. Because when I go to a skew and you pop in and I see you, like, you literally come down the stairs, you come over here, and you talk to that guy for 5 minutes, and you come over, like, you don't sit down, and you come here. And you remind me of our buddy Spiro. We always fuck with him. Shout out Spiro. If you're watching, I know you are. It's like, dude, you're in a rush to go nowhere. Where are we going? Like, we're playing golf. We got a foursome in front of us. We're not going anywhere. And he's like, hurry up. Like, he's hurrying up to hit. He's hurrying up to finish his putts and like missing them. And then
I'm
like,
that
we're like,
same way,
dude,
yeah.
Where the fuck are you going, guy? We're not in a rush to go. You're in a rush to go nowhere.
But it's trying to
and I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
That sounds shitty. I'm not saying you're going nowhere.
But it's the trying to make
like,
the
hurry up
most
and wait.
of life. Like, this is so stupid, but like, you talk about video game addiction or playing video games, whatever. I psych myself so much that I'm like, video games are a waste of time, that I then sit and worry about that for 45 minutes.
When you could have just played around in video
for
games.
45 minutes and then gone on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, that is like, I'm such a fucking idiot.
Paralysis by analysis.
And it's like, I want to make the most of life, that then it hinders me from being able to enjoy certain things.
You nailed it right on the head. That's me in a nutshell, dude. Like, because, okay, so I'm glad I got to get back this. You were like, what was the change? You know, when after you smoke, like, you just know what you want. Like, you kind of had an idea what you wanted, but then it became so clear and evident after that week that you were like, no, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly how I'm going to get there. And I was like, wow, man, I wish I had that, because I'm 38 and I'm not quite sure what I want. And to like see you be like, yeah, this is it, dude. I fucking know. Like, no, I know what I need to do. You had this running thing that you kept saying. I can't remember if I'm saying it correctly. Be like, I know my vision, or I know like I know what my path is. I know my path. Something along those lines. You kept saying that. It's like, fuck, I wish I could say that, because I don't know my path. I'm literally day to day, which I also think is a good thing, because people talk about like being present. Like, sometimes they wish they were more present, like, and whatever. And I think I might have almost like to a fault be too present, because I'm running a business. I have no plan for the future. I just know I got a job to go to next week that's going to last me a few weeks, and I'll, the phone will ring, a couple side things here and there if I need to pop off. But like, I don't have like a fucking business plan. I don't have like goals mapped out for my comedy future and shit. Like I'm day by day, dude, because I might die tomorrow too. So I definitely want to max out today and then flip it back when we don't and we feel like we're wasting time. That's when we get fucking bummed out because we know like we should be. So it's tough. It's just a struggle, dude. It's life, man. It's that life. That's what it is. It's figuring out the shit. But like that's the game, and like when you look back, you're gonna enjoy not whether you won the game or lost the game, but the fact that you were always playing the game and you were always in the game. You know, you weren't on the fucking bench because there's a lot of people that are just sitting on the fucking bench, dude. Like we're at least playing the game. You know,
Man, thank you. This was I needed this conversation. This was like,
thank you. I love our conversations. And I texted you that this morning because like I can like pretty much my best of friends ever. I can talk to him about shit like this and it's fine and open up. And he's still like one of those old school masculine, like we're both like, you know, old school masculine dudes. So we talk about emotional shit. It's still like kind of like weird.
Yeah.
But you're pretty much one of the only friends I have that we really talk about real deep shit. And it's like I feel comfortable because it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to fucking say what's on your mind because you're fucking super vulnerable, dude. So it's really nice to have someone around that you can talk about that shit with. So I appreciate you too, Sambuck.
Listen to Woody Two Shoes. Follow him on Instagram. Subscribe to Bucked
It's
Up.
Wood Two Shoes on Instagram because some fuck found like, listen, here's my theory. You ready? Woody Two Shoes is from my old Xbox account. Okay, that's my shit. Nobody came up with that, right? The people are not that witty. They go online to come up with their fantasy football fucking names. Okay, people are not that creative. So I guarantee you someone with the last name Wood or his nickname's Woody came across that one day. And then whenever that, you know what I mean? Like they got a chance to snag it up and now fucking I don't get to have Woody Two Shoes available on Instagram. And part of me feels like, because I remember I did have it at one point, that's under an old email. And like I'm blocking myself from getting my own name somehow.
Way more likely.
Like,
story.
isn't that like, dude? Isn't that bullshit? Like, I'm fucking blocking myself from getting my own fucking name because Instagram and all those email, like, fucking reset your password. Fuck off, dude.
My arm's getting
Is that
tired.
not the worst? Why is this like how you sign off? Like,
And
I'm
we're
sorry.
out.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
It wasn't.
Okay.